The crowd held its breath. A sea of faces turned towards the dais. For the first time in a generation, the kingdom of Ethelgard was to crown a new queen. 18-year-old Aurora stood poised, a vision in sapphire velvet, her platinum blonde braid a stark contrast against the deep blue. As the royal chancellor raised the crown of ages, a low, guttural groan echoed from the valley below. The Great Lake, frozen solid for centuries, began to crack. A fissure, impossibly fast, raced across the ice towards the castle. Then, with a deafening roar, a colossal figure of crystalline ice and vengeful frost erupted from the depths. Its glowing cyan eyes, filled with an ancient rage, fixed upon the young queen. This was the Frost Warden, a legend of despair, now a terrifying reality. An eternal winter began its suffocating descent upon the land. The grand halls of the castle, once filled with warmth and laughter, now echoed with the chattering of teeth and the whisper of fear. The sun had become a pale, distant memory, and the cold was relentless, creeping into every home, every heart. Aurora, her coronation gown now a somber reminder of a stolen future, gathered her most trusted companions. Her younger sister, Mira, ever practical and brave, stood ready in her travel coat, her green eyes determined. Beside her was Sammy, the brilliant scholar, his satchel filled with ancient maps and forgotten lore, his quiet strength a reassuring presence. And of course, Cairo, the magnificent snow lynx, whose instincts were sharper than any blade. He patted silently, his brass bell muted, sensing the gravity of their mission. In the oldest scrolls, Sammy had found their only hope. The sun-flame ember, a fragment of the first dawn, said to hold the power to melt any winter. Their quest was clear, but the path was shrouded in legend and peril. They had to venture into the treacherous Frostfang Peaks, to the Heart Glacier, where the ember was rumored to lie hidden. It was a desperate gamble, a flicker of light against an encroaching, endless night. Their journey began under a sky choked with snow clouds. The world had transformed into a monochrome landscape of white and gray. Their first great trial was the Chattering Bridge, a narrow span of ice suspended over a bottomless chasm, where gale-force winds howled with the voices of 1,000 lost souls. The bridge swayed and groaned under their weight, threatening to shatter with every step. Mira, agile and sure-footed, took the lead, testing the ice, calling back encouragement. Sammy, battling the vertigo, focused on the ancient runes carved into the bridge's supports, deciphering their warnings. Kiro moved with a grace that defied the treacherous footing, a silent, furry guardian. Aurora, her fur-trimmed cape whipping around her, felt the weight of her kingdom on her shoulders. The wind clawed at her, whispering doubts, telling her to turn back, to surrender to the cold. But the image of her people, shivering in their homes, fueled her resolve. She followed her sister, one step at a time, her heart pounding a rhythm against the storm. They had to cross. There was no other way. Beyond the bridge lay the Whispering Caverns, a labyrinth of mirrors carved from pure, unblemished ice. But these were no ordinary mirrors. The moment they stepped inside, the reflections twisted, showing not their images, but their deepest, most secret fears. Mira saw herself utterly alone, her family lost to the blizzard. Sammy witnessed his library, his life's work, burning to ash, his knowledge turning to smoke. For Aurora, the reflection was the most cutting of all. She saw herself as the Ice Queen, cold and isolated, her heart frozen solid, just like the Frost Warden, ruling over a dead, silent kingdom. The visions were paralyzing, designed to break their spirits. But then Sammy, recalling a passage from a forgotten text, began to hum a low, steady tune, a song of hearth and home. Mira joined in, her clear voice cutting through the whispers. Aurora, seeing her companions fight back, found her own strength. She looked past her terrifying reflection and focused on the real Mira, the real Sammy, the comforting presence of Kiro at her side. They were her strength. The fears were just echoes, powerless against their unity. Clasping hands, they navigated the maze not by sight, but by sound and trust, emerging from the other side, shaken but unbroken. As they drew closer to the Heart Glacier, the Frost Warden itself materialized before them, a towering specter of jagged ice and sorrow. It did not attack. Instead, its voice, like the grinding of glaciers, echoed directly in their minds. It offered Aurora a pact. "Join me," it whispered, showing her visions of immense power, of a world sculpted to her will. A silent, perfect, crystalline empire where there was no more pain, no more loss, only the cold, clear certainty of ice. "You are already a queen of winter. Embrace it. Forget the fading warmth. Forget the fickle hearts of men." The temptation was a subtle poison, promising an end to her struggle, a release from the crushing weight of her duty. For a fleeting moment she hesitated. The vision was seductive, an end to fear, an end to failure. But then she looked at her friends. She saw Mira's worried face, Sammy's unwavering loyalty, and felt Cairo's warm fur press against her leg. She remembered the faces of her people, their laughter, their hopes. That was her kingdom, not a silent world of ice. "I am the Queen of Ethelgard," Aurora declared, her voice ringing with a newfound certainty. "And my kingdom is one of life, not of ice." She rejected the pact, choosing the difficult path of hope over the easy escape of despair. They finally reached the Heart Glacier, a colossal, pulsating mass of ancient ice. At its core, they could see a faint warm glow, the sunflame ember. But guarding it was the Frost Warden, its rage now fully unleashed. The air crackled with freezing energy as it summoned blizzards and hurled shards of ice. Mira and Sammy fought valiantly, creating diversions, while Kiro, a white blur of speed and claws, darted in and out, harrying the giant. But they were outmatched. As the Warden cornered Aurora, ready to deliver a final freezing blow, she didn't raise a weapon. Instead, she saw the shattered crown on its head and the ageless pain in its glowing eyes. She didn't see a monster. She saw a prisoner. Sammy had discovered the truth. The Warden was the spirit of a long-dead king, betrayed by his own brother, and cursed to embody the winter of his own broken heart. The curse could only be broken not by fire, but by an act of selfless love. Aurora, looking at the spirit, felt not hatred, but a profound empathy. She reached out, not with magic, but with compassion. "You don't have to be this," she said softly. "You are not a monster. You are a king who has lost his way. Let us help you find peace." She thought of her own complex relationship with Mira, the petty jealousies and the deep, abiding love. She poured all her love for her sister, for her friends, for her kingdom, into a single, radiant pulse of light. It wasn't a weapon, it was an offering. The warmth of Aurora's magic, a magic born of love and forgiveness, struck the Frost Warden. It didn't recoil, it shuddered. The jagged ice armor cracked and fell away, not melting, but sublimating into a gentle mist. The towering, monstrous form dissolved, revealing the ethereal, sorrowful spirit of the lost king within. He looked at Aurora, his cyan eyes no longer glowing with rage, but with a deep, weary gratitude. With a final faint nod, he faded away, his spirit finally free from its icy prison. As the curse broke, the Heart Glacier began to thaw. A warm, golden light erupted from the sunflame ember, not as a scorching fire, but as a gentle, life-giving radiance that spread across the sky. The eternal winter was over. The clouds parted, and for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, the true sun shone down on the land. Their return to Ethelgard was a triumph. The snows melted, revealing the green shoots of spring. Rivers flowed freely once more, and the air filled with the scent of damp earth and renewed life. Aurora and Mira, their bond forged anew in the crucible of their quest, reconciled completely. They stood side by side, no longer just sisters, but partners. Aurora, realizing that true strength came from unity, not solitary rule, established a royal council, giving Mira and Sammy seats of power to help govern the kingdom. To celebrate their salvation and the new era of cooperation, Aurora declared the first annual Light Sky Festival. As lanterns filled the evening sky, a rainbow of colors against the twilight, the people of Ethelgard celebrated not just the return of spring, but the dawn of a new age, an age of shared strength, empathy, and enduring hope. And as Queen Aurora watched the lights dance, with her sister by her side, she knew her reign would be defined not by a crown, but by the love that had saved them all. Thank you so much for joining us on this epic journey through Ethelgard. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next adventure. We'd love to hear your favorite part of the story in the comments below. Until next time, stay brave and keep searching for the light.